everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Absurd Arguments. We are two friends who talk about things in an argumentative fashion. I, of course, am Matthew Johnson, and I'm here with my good friend Nathan Frederick. Nathan, how's it going today?
It's going good. I don't know how my parents will feel when discovering I changed my last name to Frederick.
It wasn't that you changed it. It was forced upon you last minute.
Oh gosh. Hey Mom, Dad, sorry, my good friend Matthew changed my last name. I'm a Fredericks now.
Yeah.
I know we've had a lifelong fight with them, kind of like in Romeo and Juliet, the what's their faces versus the what's their faces.
The Capulets and the Montagues.
Yeah, sure. And
gosh, why do I remember that?
That's like my least favorite. I mean, it's an all right Shakespeare play, but you know, I just, other than the names of the two title characters, you know. But anyway, yeah, I'm a Fredericks now. And I guess you're a Johnson. You shouldn't say that in England.
Hey, you want to see Bob Johnson? Points to Matthew. There he is.
Yeah. Well, Matthew, I don't know about where you're at, but it's nice and sunny out here. Still windy, you know. Texas has been extremely windy the last week or so. But how's the weather for you?
Dude, it's been crazy. It has been like in the 80s for a few days last week, and then this morning I woke up and it was 36, and I was like, no wonder I'm cold. It's cold outside.
Right.
And today it's supposed to be in the mid 70s, and I was like, what is this spring weather? I always forget how just bipolar the weather seems at this time of the year.
Oh yeah, it's kind of crazy, but it is springtime.
Yes,
so
it is.
The trajectory is gradually getting warmer and warmer, and nothing says spring to me like flowers. And so today's episode, we're gonna be two grown men arguing about flowers. All right. So I wanted to start out. You know how some people have like flower names. Like I don't know if you ever met a rose or a lily. I've heard of an iris before, and so I found this website called Den Garden, and they had a list of flower names from A to Z. You know.
Ooh.
And what I figured we could do for our listeners, I took one from each letter, and I was going to share it with you, and you tell me if you would name your potential child this or not, and we could just discuss them together. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I figure we start with the letter A. Best place to start. His first name, I think, would have a great nickname, but I like it. It's ash-leaved trumpet flower.
I would, if anyone was named that, I would believe them.
Yeah, if I met someone and they were like, call me Ash, I'd be like, is that short for Ashley? And I would be pleased if they say, no, it's short for ash-leaved trumpet flower.
That's so good.
Okay. So would you name your child this?
No. Because then I would be tempted to bully my own child.
Get over here, you ash-leaved trumpet flower.
Gosh, who would name you that? Oh yeah, that's right. Your mom and I. What a loser.
All right, I've got another one. This is a shorter one. Bramble.
Oh, dude, that's freaking Warrior Cats all over it. I don't know how many... You remember those books, right?
No, I don't think I read these.
Oh my gosh. I didn't read them either, but I had friends that did. And Bramble is definitely one of the names I've for sure have heard. So So that just makes me think of the weird girl who reads the warrior books and is also weirdly infatuated with horses, which again
Ah,
is bullyable territory.
yeah. It could be. Imagine, it's like Bramble. Where did your parents get that? And it's like the Cat Warrior books they read when they were kids. All right, another short one. Cactus.
I know of flowering cactuses, cacti, whatever it is, but
Yeah, it's a
cactus
cactus
is
flower. Yeah.
nope. That's just
No? Okay.
someone I would avoid.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see. I've got a couple of long ones in a row for you. For the letter D, we have the Dittany of Crete. It's a Greek name.
Sounds like a peace treaty that was signed in BC era.
Yeah, it sounds like a song. Like, have you heard the Dittany of Crete? You know,
If
like
anyone was just named Dittany, that would be that's an issue. But Crete, that's a
right.
strong name.
It is Dittany of Crete. It has like a kind of like graceful beginning with Dittany, and then a strong masculine ending of Crete.
Mm.
I like that.
No, I wouldn't name my child that.
Hey, if you marry a witch, here's a good name for your child: Enchanter's Nightshade.
Nope. I mean, I
No,
wouldn't marry a witch anyways because I'm a good Christian boy. Number
right?
one, they wouldn't like me. But number two, no, I'm not naming my child Nightshade or Enchanter. It's like
Yeah,
it's like one of them rednecks naming their children like Winchester or Harley or something like that.
right.
Just no.
All right. Here we'll go for the next one then. Foxglove.
Oh, Fox though. If it's just Fox,
Yeah.
maybe, but definitely not Foxglove. No, I wouldn't name my child that.
Okay, I've got another animal one for you.
All right.
If you don't like a foxglove, maybe you like a goosefoot.
Definitely wouldn't name my child Goose.
Oh, come on. We
Again,
got that.
that's extremely redneck.
We've got no. Goose was like people's first thought would not be, oh, your name is Goosefoot. They'd be like, oh, your parents are huge fans of Top Gun. With
Yeah, but
Goose.
you see, that's the thing, though. It's still too redneck of a name, no matter if it's Goosefoot or just Goose. Because, I mean, the only thing that I can see is just a child running out in the front yard, and the mom comes out, starts banging a pan, goes, "Hey, Goose, it's dinner time. Come on in." Like, that's the only thing
Right.
I can think of. I can't, no.
I
I'm
think
not going to let
I don't
that
know.
happen to my child.
Maybe it's because of Canadian geese, but I think of more Canada. Like this is a Canada redneck name, you know?
Sure, I'll let you have those thoughts.
Okay, I've got another one. This one's good. This is a good name. Honeysuckle.
No, I'm not having Suckle go in my child's name.
You could just call him Honey most of the time. Well, yeah, that is kind of weird, I guess. You don't want to name your kid Honeysuckle?
No, because I don't want Suckle being a part of their name. Because guess what? Their kids at the school ain't gonna call him Honey.
No. Yeah, why was my first instinct to short it to Honey? Maybe they short it to Suckle.
Ugh. No thanks.
All right, well, I've got a better one for you. Ipomoea tricolor. Ipomoea tricolor.
Is that where the girl is from? The girl from Ipomoea?
I have no clue. I don't know what an Ipomoea tricolor is.
Tall and tan and young and lovely. The girl from Ipomoea goes
Mm-hmm.
walking.
All right, the next one. You know how some parents are like, "Oh, we named our daughter China because that's where she was conceived or something." Some parents do that. This one is it kind of like a mix. It's a flower name, and that it's a Jamaica plum.
Jamaica, sure. Jamaica plum, no.
All right. I've got another animal one for you. This one's good. This is an Australian name. Kangaroo paw.
No, not a chance.
Kangaroo paw. And now, when they say paw here, it's like the little animal paw. But when your child becomes a grandfather of their own, this is perfect.
Kangaroo
Oh,
paw
we're
paw?
gonna visit. Yeah, kangaroo paw paw, or just even kangaroo paw.
No.
It has a good double meaning.
No, I wouldn't.
All right. The next one, ladies' bedstraw.
No. No. No.
ladies bedstraw.
If anything, I'm learning that you shouldn't be the one in charge of choosing names. These are awful.
Look, man, I don't want to go for just your typical, oh, my name's Laurel. Like ladies' bedstraw. That is a name to make you think.
Hey man, I've got a buddy who's having a girl and her name is Laurel. So back off.
Oh, okay. We can cut that part. Let me redo that, okay? I don't mind standing by it. But
just keep going.
I'm going to start over. Look, Matthew, everyone's heard of a rose,
Hey man, I've got a buddy whose last name is Rose.
I swear, Matthew, stop having flower friends. This is impossible.
Just move
All right.
on.
Everyone's heard the name Sage.
Hey, that's my favorite cooking ingredient.
I swear. I'm not trying to be insulting. I'm just trying to point out that I pick names that nobody would pick because I feel bad for these flowers. How come they don't have anybody naming their children after them? Anyway.
After kangaroo paw or enchanter's nightshade. Yeah. Right.
Okay. Well, I've got another one. You've heard of girls named Madeline.
Yes.
You could just shorten it to Matter.
No.
Okay. I've got one. Nosegay. The nosegay flower.
No, I'm not gonna. Again, extremely believable. Not gonna. Do
okay,
it.
That one I did pick because it's a good joke name. Okay.
Ugh.
All right. Here's a serious one. Okay.
Sure.
Osmunda.
It sounds like if I were to go to a school and I met someone who was from, I don't know, like Nigeria or somewhere in Africa.
Yeah.
And they said, and I asked them what their name was, and they said Azamunda. I was like, wow, that's a beautiful name.
Uh-huh.
But if I met someone in rural Texas and I asked them what their name was and they said Asamunda, I'd be like, what was your parents smoking?
They were smoking Osmunda. How did you know?
Hey! I was conceived on an Asamunda flower.
Gosh. All right. This next one, you're pretty much assisting the bullies at this point, even more than Nosegay, I think. You name your child Pansy.
Oh, 100%. 100% bullyable.
Man, I hate my child even before they're born. Pansy. Your name is Pansy.
Pansy. I hope you live up to your namesake.
Oh, gosh. All right, this one should be fun for you. You're a soccer guy. And this sounds like a soccer name to me,
Okay.
Queen's Cup. Queen's Cup.
I wouldn't name my child Queen's Cup.
Okay, that's fair. This next one's a callback to ash leaf trumpet flower. You could name your child Round-leaved Sundew.
Sundew sounds like a very new agey, earthy girl would name her cat.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, I don't know of a good time to name a child that.
I don't think there's any good time to name your child Roundleaf Sundew. Or be just Sundew. All right.
Roundleaf, on the other hand, no, I'm just
Hey,
kidding. I hope you
they
live
could go
up
by
to your
the
namesake.
Matthew. They
Yeah.
could go by the initials RL, like RL Stein.
Oh my! Is that really his name? Roundleaf Stein.
Roundleaf Stein. Holy cow, we figured it out.
Oh
All right.
no!
Here's one that's actually realistic. Sweet William.
Again, William, sure. Sweet William, no.
I would insist, I would be that jerk of a parent who insists, don't you dare call him just William. His name is Sweet William. You know? Oh, I would be that parent.
Mm-mm.
Here's another good one. Touch Me Not.
Good, solid name. Any
Yep.
situation. What's your name? Touch me not. I didn't. No, that's my
Um,
name.
and
It's
also, don't do that. Don't touch me. Leave me alone.
again. Hey, son, come here. Women are awful. That's why I named you Touch Me Not, so that you can always remember that it's just you need to worry about you. Don't worry about anyone else.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Don't get
All
involved
right.
emotionally with anybody, even me. I'm leaving right after I give you this conversation to go buy milk.
The house is in your name. I will pay the bills until you're 18. Learn to live for yourself. Touch me not.
Abandonment 101.
Heck yeah. All right. Here's a cool one. I like this one. Uva Ursi. Uva Ursi.
Again, that's Eastern European. If I were meeting someone from like, I don't know, Czech Republic or somewhere over there, and they said, "What's your
Yeah.
name?" It's Uva. Good name.
Mm.
If I were to see someone again randomly in rural Texas, what's your name? Uva. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
I'd be like, how many broken down cars do you have in your front lawn?
Yeah.
You know?
Do you keep them for quote parts? Oh
All
gosh.
right. So now earlier we had Sweet William, like a good name. This one we have the girl version of that, okay? I
Sure.
think. And this one could work, okay? Virginia Spiderwort.
Nope. Nope.
Virginia Spiderwort.
You had it at the beginning. Virginia.
Yeah.
I good name. Spiderwort. No, it's not. We're not trying to make a knockoff Harry Potter movie.
Yeah, it's just a suggestion. All right. Um this one's kind of like Pansy where you're just helping the bullies ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
giving them a head start in making fun of your child. Wallflower.
Yeah. I mean, there's. Speaking of Harry Potter, wasn't Emma Watson in The Perks of Being a Wildflower or Wallflower?
Yeah, she
I think
was.
she. Yeah. Hey, look, it kind of went up in there. Still, no, wouldn't name my child that.
Right. Okay, you've heard of a chrysanthemum, right?
Yes,
Well, how about a xeranthemum? Spelled with an X.
I would assume this is a name from either a millennial or even a Gen Alpha family
Right.
that this name comes from it. So I already have a lot of disdain for it.
Okay, that's fair. This next one, I'm going to pronounce it two different ways because I'm not sure. Maybe you can help me with which way we should pronounce it. It's either yucca or yucca.
We'll go Yucca.
Yeah, it's probably for the best. But it would be handy, like if your child's a picky eater, And you could just like mock them whenever they're like, ew, yuck, I don't like this. Yucca, yucca. That's you.
I think Yuka is the better name, but I still wouldn't name my child that.
Okay. Last one, Z. Zephyranthes. This was the only one for Z.
Again, millennial Gen Alpha family. This is the name they've given their child. Don't want anything to
Yeah,
do with him.
fair.
That
That was a
list was
long
awful.
intro. Oh, yeah, it was a great intro. It was a great list.
Oh no.
It's just I feel bad that just sunflowers aren't picked, you know?
And I'm gonna say this. Maybe there's a reason.
Maybe. Still not right.
I disagree. I think it's right.
Yeah. Well, our episode isn't just primarily about flower names. Though knowing me, I wouldn't mind that. But we have a couple questions about flowers that we're going to debate. And so I think, should we cue that music, Matthew?
You know what? I think now would be a good time to cue the music. So, Nathan, you've heard it said probably very often. One of the things that you should do on a first date is at least have some flowers. That's a hot debate topic for so many people of should flowers be a part of what you give to someone on a first date? And we have very differing opinions, very strong opinions on either side. So, Nathan, what do you think about this question?
I think you should give flowers on a first date.
Why?
Now, I was on Reddit. I looked at Reddit for this question, and stupidly, everyone disagrees with me, but they're wrong, you know. And so I'm gonna mention this one comment that somebody gave, because this guy asked, should I give flowers on a first date? And so this person gave 3 reasons of why you should not, but I'm gonna say you should anyway. All right.
Okay.
First, this person says flowers might come off a bit too strong, especially if you're just getting beers and it's not really a clear date setting. You know.
Well, then if it's not a clear date setting, then you shouldn't be bringing flowers anyways. But continue.
I think you need to make it clear, and you bring those flowers, you want to come off strong. Do you want a woman to like a weak man? No. A strong, manly man will have a bouquet of flowers in his hand and to just throw at her as soon as he sees her. So you want to come off as strong on your date. All right?
Okay.
So that's point number 1 against this lady. I assume it's a lady. Let's see. Then this person goes, whether you get her a single rose or a whole bouquet, she will have to awkwardly carry it with her for the rest of the night. I personally dislike having to hold things when I'm out and about, especially if I'm drinking or want to hold hands, make out with my date. And flowers don't generally fit in small purses, so this makes things difficult. No. I want my date to awkwardly hold this flower until the very end. You know?
It speaks a lot about your current situation.
No, Matthew. It's a reminder to them, I am strong, and I gave you this gift. Now you must show me your strength. Will you be able to hold this flower or bouquet the whole date? Are you strong enough socially to endure the strange looks that strangers are giving us? You know, it is a test of her strength if I'm giving him to her at the beginning.
That's so incredibly wrong, but okay.
All right. And then this is the third one. Okay. All right. This person finally says there are other smaller gestures that she will remember more than flowers. Anything from complimenting her or just remembering small details. Do what you can to show her that you're interested in her as a person and not just getting in her. Never mind. I'll cut that last part. Um, Look, the thing is, if a girl remembers smaller gestures fairly well, then her memory is going to be in overdrive when there is a bigger gesture. All right?
Hmm.
That's the thing. If it's something huge, she'll remember, a huge moment, she'll remember that even clearer. That's what I think.
Well, Nathan, um, I think you're wrong on so many levels
Okay.
because what I've heard, because I think I hold to, weirdly and strangely enough, I agree with Reddit. Um,
Hmm.
I think that it is best because we're talking first date. Like the points that were raised in some of the research I was doing. So I used YouTube and channel called Cupid Gurus and the video whether or not you should bring flowers on a first date. Um, Self-explanatory. Um, the reasons that this lady gives is number one, it can be overwhelming, which yes, you want to make sure that you are, you know, creating an atmosphere of being just nice and welcoming other than I will shower you with my love no matter what. It's a bit awkward. Second,
Hmm.
it could be misinterpreted because it's like you're already trying to just go ahead and say, hey, this is our first date, but I'm ready to spend the rest of our lives together. Some people just aren't into that. And then some people just don't like flowers. Like, that's kind of it. So that's just not
That's
everybody's.
shocking.
It's not everybody's cup of tea.
That's shocking to me. Not
Why
everyone
is it
likes
shocking to
flowers.
you?
I don't know. They're just so pretty. They're right there. They're colorful.
Yeah, but
Frilly.
I don't know, man. Another video called "Should You Get Your Date Flowers on a First Date" by Heartwise Advice. Um, I was watching this video, and the first thing that came up was an AI voice, and I was like, "Ah, oh, darn it! I've made it to AI territory again." Um,
Oops.
Yep. And the main point they give is the first impression matters, especially on a first date. And like I said earlier, coming on too strongly can often be a turnoff for people because maybe they don't want a big strong man. Some women want someone who's not big and strong. And
Who's weak and easily controllable.
yes, we've all seen those old cartoons of the short guy with the really big woman who is always just like, Harold, you need to do this, this, and this. Like some women are into that. They don't want big, strong men. They want weak, easy, controllable men. And so
Uh-huh.
maybe you're you know that's the type of woman you're after. So it would be a bad idea to give flowers. It's just how some
Right.
dudes are.
This has turned into a weird defense of weak, mealy-mouthed men.
We're talking about flowers, Nathan.
We're supposed to, but I don't know. You're just like, hey guys, if you're a pansy, if you're a pansy, don't give your girl flowers.
Uh, anyway, shout out to all our Herald listeners. You guys are not always weak and easily controllable.
Yeah, no,
I assume.
you're cool.
But
Um,
yeah, I just again it can send the wrong signals and do all the and just kind of like Now I will say in defense because I don't know how great of a job you did. In defense of giving a flower, I think it might be nice to give a single flower. Maybe that's just enough.
Yeah, but if you give a single flower, that indicates, hey, you're alone and you're going to be single still. I don't know.
How?
It's like, here's one flower. You're one person. You'll stay one person. Like, you should give two flowers, one representing you and one representing her.
And then a third flower representing Jesus.
Well, like a third, and then like maybe shorter flowers representing your future children. Oh, okay, now I see why it could come off strong. Yeah, you're right. Where does it end?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, do I get 4 extra flowers now for our families coming together that represent my parents and your parents? Or in my situation, I'd have 3 flowers because I have my stepdad and my I mean, where does it end?
Here's a pack of seeds. These represent our future children. Only plant these once we're married and you have conceived, all right? So here are these. Save these for later.
And this other flower that has a different color represents the waiter who gave us our food because we need to remember this special moment.
This cactus reminds me of the Uber driver who took us to the wrong spot first.
No. This cactus will represent the prickly times we'll have in our life, but when it blooms, it becomes something beautiful.
Right.
Oh, no.
Oh, gosh. This oak tree is to be planted to provide more oxygen to the earth because you take my breath away every time I'm around you.
She's not carrying an oak tree, dude. You're not carrying an oak tree.
I'm going to carry, no, not a fully grown one, but I'll carry an oak tree sapling. That's my pickup line. That's what I'll use. I'll be like, this needs to be planted to provide more oxygen because you take my breath away. That's what I'm going to say to the girl.
You know what, Nathan? Have at it.
But this does lead us to our next one. All right. So usually, I mean, that's the thing. Guys give girls flowers on a first date. But a recent argument that has arisen on the internet is, for many men, the only flowers they receive in their lifetime are the ones they get at their funeral when they die. So should men get flowers sooner, or should they be content with waiting until they die?
I'm going to say be content. Flowers don't... I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. This might be controversial, but I'm going to say it. Mm-hmm. Flowers look nice. They really don't have any meaning. That's it. I think all flowers smell the same. I cannot differentiate the different smells, the aromas that other flowers give. You say, hey, smell this rose, smell this daisy. Can you tell a difference? Yeah. No, I can't. I think they smell like flowers.
You think you got that long-lasting COVID?
No.
Maybe you lost your sense of smell?
No, because there's never been a time where I remember smelling a flower that was distinct and made me think, wow, this smells so different and amazing. I've smelled flowers. They smell like flowers. There is no specialty to it.
Wait. So you're saying you think men should not get any flowers until they die?
Yeah, there's no reason to have flowers. Because they really don't carry any meaning. That's just this arbitrary meaning that people have placed on flowers, but it doesn't mean anything. I think it's pointless.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's a reason I think this. It's because on YouTube, comedian Liz, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, Miele, Liz Miele, I guess. Okay. She has a video that says why you should buy men flowers. And here's the thing. She talks about she has a lot of guy friends. And she has this one guy friend who she's been friends with for 15 years. And she has a deep connection with him. And so she has to feel like she needs to teach them how to properly approach the modern woman. And so anytime they have a big moment in their life, she gives them flowers. And
Yeah.
and then she says she said they have such a disappointed look, and she goes, "Yeah, I know." She's trying to show them that flowers don't really have many meaning. It's just a nice
Hmm.
gesture. But then she also says you got to take care of them. You got to make sure, they don't wilt, but then you got to get a vase and you may not have a vase. Like, you got to do all this extra work to keep it alive. And
Yeah.
what's the point? There's now the work is on you to keep that flower alive. And it's just like, hey, you did good for all this work you did. Here's more work that you should do. I don't think that's very kind.
Matthew, your nihilistic view is absolutely ridiculous. You know,
Uh-huh.
life could be considered fleeting and only enjoyable for a short amount of time before it ends. You know, should
Yeah.
nobody live? Should nobody enjoy their life? The flowers may be here for a week or two tops, but should we not enjoy that? Should we not allow them to bloom and brighten up our places of living?
So here's another thing. YouTuber Matthew Coast has a video called "Most Men Don't Want Flowers."
I can't believe this.
That's my point. He goes into greater detail in the video. It's 3 minutes long. I don't care. The video title's enough. Men just don't want flowers. I
Yeah.
mean, sure, they might be, oh, okay, thanks. Like, I watched a couple videos of this guy handing random men flowers, and there were lots
Right.
of guys that are just like, no, I'm good, thank you. Like, guys just don't want flowers. Because women have this special attachment to flowers. They know the meanings, they know the different smells. Guys are just
Right.
like, hey, that's pretty. And that's it.
Yeah.
There's so many better things you could give a guy.
Hey, I know a guy. Definitely not me. Okay? Like I know how some people are like, "Oh, I know someone," and they mean some, themselves, but it isn't me. All right? I'm just throwing that out there. But this friend of mine, he would go to the store and he'd see those like orchids, and orchids sound like a cool flat, like if a guy had an orchid, like that's a manly sounding flower.
Mm-hmm.
And so he got himself one of those orchids just to enjoy for himself. This definite friend of mine, not me. I would never, I mean, me personally, I wouldn't. But if somebody gave me an orchid,
Yeah.
that would be okay because it's a pretty cool flower. But some guys, and it doesn't mean anything like anything weird about them because they bought themselves a flower. Like they just thought, man, that looks cool. That's a cool looking flower. Not that it's like pretty or colorful or anything like that. Again,
Nathan,
a friend of mine did this.
I feel like you need to look up the social media page Boston Be a Man,
I mean, I have.
because it's one of the places that if you really want to know what it's like to be a man, you go and you view that page.
I mean, look. All I'm saying is if my friend of mine, definitely not me, somebody I know, was going through the store and oh no, an orchid fell into my shopping cart. Am I going to go through the effort of going to return this orchid? No, I mean, my friend, is he going to go through the effort of returning the orchid? No, it's just easier to go to the checkout lane, and it's easier to just put it on the conveyor belt, and it's easier just to buy it and take it home and put it on display until it dies because he's awful at taking care of flowers. There's nothing like unmanly about that, Matthew. I don't understand.
Nathan,
Uh-huh.
according to Boston Be a Man,
Yeah.
don't be sensitive, be angry,
I
be impatient, tell
I
people
mean,
to
it's
hurry
not.
up.
My friend does that. Like he's a jerk.
Yeah.
I mean, within reason.
Well, they also say live life without progress. which I'd say both of us are doing a pretty good job at that. So I'd say we're both
Screw
pretty good
you,
men.
Matthew. Just screw you.
Don't
I'm
accept
trying.
stolen valor, only stolen goods.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Don't take the easy way out. Struggle at all costs.
Yeah. Matthew,
That's the way to be a man. Don't give flowers. Give flowers on your funeral so that you don't know you're getting flowers. Be a man.
yeah. Matthew, clearly I disagree with you. I think a man should be given flowers before his death, you
Mm-hmm.
know? On Reddit, on Reddit, somebody said,
I can't.
I know.
I can't take Reddit seriously, man. So every time you mention it, it's so funny.
I know, it's just my resource for the day.
I
Look,
know.
last week, one of my favorite subreddits is called Bowroo Updates. And it's just people who give their dumb stories and then they just give updates to it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so for last week's, there was a guy who he's been married to his wife for about 10 to 20 years. And at the beginning of their marriage, they had a rough time. They were really poor. They were struggling financially. But his wife loved receiving flowers. Okay. So he eventually learned, I need to put an effort in. I'm going to get her flowers. All right. Well,
Okay.
fast forward, they have a daughter now. So he brings his daughter flowers, his wife flowers. But then he came to this realization, Matthew, he's buying the flowers for himself. I mean, yeah, it's a bonus that his wife and daughter love these flowers, but they're really for him. He likes it. And so he just came to this moment one day where he had bought both of them flowers recently, and then he just bought some, and he was like, dang, these are for me. You know? So all I'm saying is, once you get into that habit of buying your girl flowers, you might enjoy having them around yourself, you know?
Nathan,
Yeah.
Reddit is filled with a bunch of beta males. I bet some of them have controlling women in their lives, and that's just what they've learned as they've grown up, and they don't really realize that they're trained to be like women, and they're not really men.
So so are you saying a man who gives his girl flowers is a controlled man?
I'm just
A little
saying.
wimpy man?
I'm just saying.
Because
He's
I'd
just
like to
now.
introduce you to my dad, who drives a motorcycle and could probably break you in half, Matthew. He buys my mom flowers.
Yeah, but did he buy you flowers?
No, thank goodness. That'd be kind of weird.
Exactly. That's my point.
Darn it.
That's my point. He's not buying him for him. He's buying him for his lovely wife. He's not buying him for his son. He's buying for the love of his life. And this guy on Reddit's just like, maybe I'm just buying flowers for myself because you're a beta male.
Maybe, Matthew, this is a psyop by Big Flower Inc. to get men to buy flowers for themselves. That way they can sell more flowers. Maybe
And
it's a conspiracy.
you're buying that hook, line, and sinker.
I mean, not hook, line, and sinker. You know, that's a fishing terminology. I'm not.
And you wouldn't do that because you're not a real man.
You're a jerk. What do you mean? I'm upset and I'm going to go buy me a flower now. I mean, my friend. I'm going to tell my friend to go buy himself a flower.
Man, I'm going to go buy me a fishing pole.
All right. This leads us to our final thing, okay? The most well-known thing about flowers is probably with weddings. Weddings are full of flowers because it's full of women, and women love flowers, and so there's tons of flowers at weddings, all right? Now, two things happen at a wedding, usually. At the end, the bride throws her bouquet, and whoever catches it will get married next. It's the law. And then usually they have a younger girl walk down the aisle in front of the bride, and she throws flower petals, you know. So Matthew, what I wanted to discuss is what should they be throwing instead? You know?
Mm-hmm. Nathan, I went first last time, so I'll let you go first, but I feel pretty strongly about my answer.
Okay. What I would like, we may have to get rid, I have two ideas, okay?
Okay.
We may have to get rid of the flower girl position and replace it with, I think it's like a flower Scottish man, okay? And instead of throwing a flower, he's doing that competition they do where they pick up a giant boulder to see how long they can hold it. And I don't necessarily want him to throw the boulder, but I would like him to pick up the boulder and walk down the aisle with it, straining the whole way as like a symbol of, hey, we know marriage is hard work. And sometimes it's going to feel like a great burden. But we got to be strong, like this Scottish strong man, to carry this burden of marriage all the way down the aisle.
My sweet beloved Virginia spiderwort. I just want you to know that you're going to be a burden for the rest of my life. And I'm just going to work as hard.
And she's like, oh, sweet William, just so you know, I too believe that you're going to be a burden my entire life.
So what you're saying essentially is, number one, we need to pump more testosterone into weddings to get men more excited for it. Because if there's one thing men like seeing is physical feats of strength and power demonstrated.
If I saw a man doing that, or I saw a Scottish man doing that, or like my pastor, like just rips the sleeves off his suit and grabs a frying pan and bends it and is like, make some analogy about how that applies to marriage, bro, I'd be all in. I would definitely, dude, and think about it. It's like, okay, I gave my vows in front of these guys, to love my wife in sickness and in health, rich or for poor. I was like, if I break my vows, those dudes will break me. Like that could be a good threat.
That says something. Get that accountability of, if I don't hold my vows in marriage, I'm going to die.
I like
you don't have to worry about me getting a divorce because it's not going to be necessary. I'm just going to die.
Yeah. She's like, I want to leave you. And it's like, oh, please don't. They will kill me.
No. Virginia Spiderwort, please don't leave me. I don't want Chuck and Daryl to come here and absolutely wreck me. Please.
Like, who's breaking their wedding vows? And then my second idea, this one applies. Now that's the flower girl position, which is done for. But if I get pushback and they're like, no, flower girls have to stay, I'll be like, fine. Okay. So what I want the bride to do, okay, this is going to be kind of like a flowerception almost. What I would like her to do is, instead of throwing a bouquet, she throws the flower girl, who throws the bouquet and flower petals at the same time.
Okay, but...
And so...
Wait.
So whichever... And then what we'll do is it'll be a mix. So instead of guys catching the garter, guys are in charge of trying to catch the flower girl so she doesn't bonk her head on the floor. Mm-hmm. And then the brides, all the single ladies, they're in charge of catching the bouquet or flower petals. Like if you catch a flower petal, you're guaranteed a boyfriend for at least 6 months. And if you catch the bouquet, you're going to be the next one to get married. And then for guys, if they catch the flower girl, they don't have to get married for, 6 months or something like that. Like they get a free pass for a year.
So the thing about the garter, catch the garter, at my brother's wedding.
Yeah.
Oh, my sister-in-law, she threw back the bouquet of flowers. All the single girls were there. They caught it, and it was all, oh yay, so happy. And then it came time for my brother to fling the garter.
Yeah.
And they're like, all right, all the single guys. Nobody moved.
Yeah. I don't
Nobody
want that.
nobody stood up.
No.
Nobody started walking. If anything, we sat down. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, come on, come on. The MC's just like, oh, come on, get up here. And so then we all just begrudgingly go, and we just kind of stand there where our hands are in our pockets, and he flings it, and it lands on the ground, and again, nobody moves.
Exactly. I don't
Because
want that.
it's like for me, it's like, this is my now sister-in-law.
Right.
I don't want to touch it because I know where it's been. And
Right.
I don't want to do that. Nobody moved, and then one of my buddies, we pressured him into picking it up, and well, he's getting married soon.
Ah.
So, but
See,
I was,
I don't
yeah,
know. It's just, I think I've known some people who they get the garter and then they hang it in their rear view mirror on their car.
I
No,
don't
no,
want it.
not a fan.
I I have a thing called boundaries that I try to keep, and if I
Yeah.
know something has been somewhere not super great, I don't want anything to do with it, because
Yeah.
because what does that paint the picture for me? I don't want that.
Right.
Instead, what I want, Flower Girl, like you said, we can axe the position. I want the best man coming down the aisle. He's got a cooler in his hand, and he is chunking cold ones at
Oh, heck yeah.
whoever's there in the audience. They're just like, he's coming down. It's
Oh,
like, all right, welcome, Dennis, down. And he's like the guys at the ballparks where they're like, cold
yeah.
there, cold water. But it's, of course, since I'm not a particular
Well,
fan of alcohol. It's like, all the sodas or the different types of soda. And he's
Dr.
just
Peppers.
Dr. Pepper. But for any event, for even if you drink, if you don't drink, whatever it is, just whatever the beverage of choice is, he's slinging cold ones to people who are just like, right here, right here. Again, that gets them interested in what's about to happen. Because
Dude, and that
now,
gets you hyped.
exactly, because then the crowd's
I'm
like,
hyped.
yeah, and you're like, there's more where that came from, so we're gonna speed run this ceremony, and it's the quickest wedding ceremony you've ever had, so you can get
Uh-huh.
to the most important thing, which is the food
Oh, I thought you were going
after
to say the
the
night.
wedding ceremony. What?
I thought you were going to say the wedding night, but sure, yeah, the food is great as well.
Sure, I mean, you've got that, but that's going to happen. But
Uh-huh.
what people aren't there for that, because number one, ew, gross. Number two, there's only one reason really most guys go, and it's to try out the cake and the other food that's there.
Right.
The wedding cake, yeah, it looks all nice, but how does it taste? I mean,
Uh-huh.
it's got all the flowery icing on it. I don't care. Does it taste good? Yes. Perfect. Mission accomplished. What I came here for. So, and then again, you get out. We're not throwing the bouquet. We're throwing more cold ones. Getting them out there.
Oh, heck
Getting
yeah.
people hype.
Bro,
Because now,
maybe she's got a 6-pack or a 12-pack of cold ones. Like, see, when we say cold ones, it is ambiguous enough to be an alcohol or a fun soda beverage. You
exactly.
know?
Or if you're health conscious, carbonated water like a LaCroix,
Oh, heck
which
yeah.
gross, number one. But yeah, no, you're just chunking more cold ones. You're getting them out
Heck
there.
yeah.
You're getting people hype again. So it is always
Mm-hmm.
moving and grooving. We don't need to stop. It's
Dude.
like, all right, now we're going to take the garter off. Sure, we have that whole thing. And then he turns around and he grabs a 12 pack. He's like, who wants it? Everyone's like, yeah.
Bro, I just thought of something that sent tingles throughout my entire head.
Uh huh.
Imagine everybody's got a cold one in hand and they start just all at once. Oh my gosh, music to my ears.
ASMR for men.
forget Kane, Pachelbel's Kanan and D. You know, just hey, everybody, when we're walking down the aisle, me and my bride, just crack those open.
No, and it's got to be
dude.
in like sequence. So every aisle that the bride passes,
Uh-huh.
that whole line just.
Oh, bro.
It's like a waterfall
Dude.
of carbonation. It's beautiful.
Oh man, that'd be great. Gosh. Man,
So yeah,
that's
no,
a dream.
I suggest we start chunking cold ones instead of flowers at weddings. Anyways,
Yeah.
this is all fantasy because it's not happening to either of us anytime soon.
Gosh darn it, Matthew. We need to get on 90 Day Fiancé already. What's wrong with us?
What's wrong with you?
Well, speak for yourself. You're in the same boat.
Yeah, I'm not getting on a reality TV show.
I mean, you will be if I'm on there. I'll be like, here's my best friend Matthew. He's come here to give me some advice.
I'm gonna specifically make them sign a contract that they blur my face and distort my voice so that they'll never know. And I'm in almost every shot you are, and I am blurred. And they're like, "What's that guy? Is he like witness protection program?" And there's a thing that pops up the next episode. That's like, "Hey, he's not in witness protection program. He just wants to remain anonymous." And everybody's like, "That guy sucks." And I was like, "I hate reality TV. What do you expect?"
And don't worry, when I get social media famous from my appearance, I will name drop you. I will tag you. I'll be like, hey, do you guys want to know that blurred face guy? This is him. And you might get so many girls fangirling over you, man. You're welcome.
No thanks. But you know what we will name drop? The names of our social media and email after we cue this music. All right, Nathan. So where can people find us on social media?
I mean, if you're very observant, you can find us in text. Oh, you said in social media. Let's see. We've got an Instagram. We have a Threads because it's funny to have a Threads. We've got a Facebook. There's a YouTube. You should follow us on the YouTube.
Yep.
Let's see. What else? We got an email. absurdargumentsforyou@gmail.com. That's absurd arguments. The letter 4, the number U @gmail.com. And yeah, that's it, right?
Wow, that's super good of you. About the YouTube, we recently posted some outtakes, some bonus content that's only found on YouTube. So we'll try to post extra stuff, whenever we do skits, any stupid outtakes we'll post it on there to give extra things. That's not really good podcasting because I did almost zero editing on that. So you can watch it there. We also post all of our episodes there as well. And that is all the time we have for this episode. Thank you so much for listening to our debacle over flowers, and look forward to receiving your own personal flowers from Absurd Arguments. Disclaimer, that will not happen. So Nathan, do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, shout out to our editor. He does a really good job with our podcast. We've used him almost pretty much the entire time we have done this show. And so I just wanted a special shout out to him. You go, Matthew. Thanks for all you do with editing. When you hear this, when you edit. Current Matthew, do not listen to this part. Only listen to it when you're editing. I suppose.
Crap. Hold on. Let me take my headphones off.
I should have said that sooner. My bad. But yeah, shout out to our editor, Matthew. He does a great job. I sure as heck couldn't do it. Peace.
Are you done?
Oh yeah, I'm done. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm glad you said that louder so that I could hear it faintly. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Absurd Arguments, and we will see y'all in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.